hosted by Tony Gapastione. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, it's showtime. Welcome to episode 181 of the Brave Maker podcast. My name is Tony Gapastione. I am an actor and a director, a filmmaker in Redwood City, California. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I'm going to give you my visual description so that we can be inclusive to all people. Before my guest comes in today, I am a Caucasian man wearing glasses, brown hair, a striped shirt in my Brave Maker studio with lots of faux green stuff behind me and big pink word Brave Maker. I get to do this show every week. I love it. I love getting to meet creative people from all over the place. And today we have a special guest. Some of you are probably here just because of this creative person and all the work that you have seen from Lady Camden, also known as my friend, actor Rex Wheeler. Rex, welcome.
Hi, Tony. Thank you so much. And I could not be here without my little cup.
Oh, come on. That's one of like 50 mugs we have. We did one run and that's it. And you got one of the 50.
Exclusive. I love it. Thank you.
As someone who has their own merch, I appreciate you touting ours. So thank you so much. Okay, so Rex, give your description, where you're from, and anything else you want to say about you visually, and then we'll jump into the conversation.
Yeah, gladly. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rex Wheeler, but I'm also known as Lady Camden, a very famous drag queen from season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And before that, I was a local queen here in San Francisco and Sacramento a little bit. And I know Tony because we worked on some acting bits and bobs before I was on Drag Race. We shot a short film called Andy with an Eye, which you can find on YouTube, I believe.
Yep, we'll put it in the chat. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, very fun stuff. So I mean that's essentially me in a nutshell. I'm originally from the UK. I identify as he, him, as out of drag and then in drag, she, her. I'm originally from the UK, from a little town called Camden Town. A lot of people know it as the home of Amy Winehouse. But I'm also from there. And I grew up in North London, and then I wanted to be a ballet dancer. So I danced for 10 years, pretty much professionally, and trained for like 8 years before that. So that was my first dedication. And then while I was transitioning out of dancing, just because it isn't really something that you can do forever, to be frank, you have to, think about other careers afterwards, whether it's in dance or not. So I decided to go to acting school, and simultaneously I started doing drag at pretty much the same time, 2018. I'm still in acting school. I still love to act, as Tony knows, and we work together on Monday on a very interesting and special project that's coming up. And but drag really took over, so now I'm a fully fledged queen every day.
Okay, so I didn't know. This is so cool. I'm learning stuff too. So yeah, I met you in 2018, kind of ironically the same time that I was starting Brave Maker. So Brave Maker is really just 5 years old. And I was actually in my other studio in San Carlos, and I had this idea to make a little short film, kind of like a little mockumentary. I love stuff like The Office and Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
absolutely one of my favorites. And the story keeps getting more and more exaggerated, according to Rex. So I'll try to like.
Every time you tell this story, I'm like, wait a second. I don't remember being this much of a diva.
So the way that I kind of remember it, we'll see. In Rex, you could tell the real truth as much as we can. So I had this idea to do a mockumentary short film about this aspiring actor named Andy. And Andy needed to be quite the diva. And Andy also had to have this little twist. If you watch the short will be in the chat if you're watching live on YouTube or anywhere. Had to have this little fun twist at the end. So I wrote the sides up, and I started putting out little castings and auditions. And Rex submitted himself.
Oh my god, I haven't watched this in ages.
Oh my gosh, it's so freaking funny. And again, I'm just a little biased, but I think you freaking knocked it. So the backstory is Rex submits self-tape,
so much fun,
self-audition. Okay, so those of you know, this is even before pandemic, we were doing this, and I knew exactly this was the one that I wanted to play this role. It was so good. You just knocked it out. I should even look for that self-tape, so it was so good.
Oh my
But
God.
we were filming, here's how I remember, I think November maybe we were filming it, and you were just in the Nutcracker, I believe, in Menlo Park, kind of where I was.
Oh yeah, that's right, I was. Yeah.
And then you were going to London. So your schedule was really booked, and you said, could you push it till January? And I think it was like more than a month. That's how I remember it, but I don't know. A year later, Rex says, no, I was kidding.
Yeah. No, that's it pretty much. I just I remember being so nervous to ask though, and I was like, God, this is so not done. Like I know that my acting teacher would have been like, don't you dare, because there's an etiquette of like, if you're auditioning for something, you're not going to be like, well, I can only do it. It's like you're literally asking for the opportunity to audition for a role. So I didn't want to be too cocky, but I was like, I really, really want to do this part because it is so funny and like. I don't know, just like I didn't have a ton of experience or like footage for reels. And I mean, as any aspiring actor knows, it's really, honestly, really difficult to get any footage of like yourself acting in a highly produced capacity. But then there's also like the writing that comes involved, the time. There's so many things that can basically stop you from getting an opportunity to act. And this was one of those things where I was like, if it was just like a few weeks later or like a month later, whatever it was, and I would make space to do it. I want to do this so badly. Because again, there's not that many opportunities to act that fit you so perfectly, or something that makes you feel like you can really bring it to life. There's a lot of roles where you feel like, okay, I'm going to have to really work on becoming this person in a way that is not who I am, but like I can relate to it in some way, and it's going to be a big challenge. Whereas with Andy, it was like, this is kind of like, I don't know, not easy, but like just fun, like it definitely was not easy because it was like a one take situation. So that was what I was super nervous about, was because the closer you get to the end of the script, the more you're aware of the fact that this has been one take, and if you mess it up now, the entire thing is ruined. So I was like, don't mess it up, don't get distracted, don't lose focus, just keep on going.
Oh gosh. Rex, you were so good. Okay, so I need to back up and just say I love that you had the guts to do that, and I think every actor should try it. Why not? The answer could be no, but why not? And you did, and I was like so ballsy, but so perfect. I was like, yeah, this guy's perfect for the role. We have to push it back. And the guy who's doing Matt, who is the cinematographer, like getting people to commit to days and things is so tough. But it was like we all knew we got to make that.
And people
happen.
Cancel there's so many things, especially with like anything low budget. Because everyone is essentially either volunteering or doing it for not very much, and so it's so hard to get. Well, you got together on Monday, which was like a big team of people working on something, where it's just hard. It's just hard to do it because like everybody wants to focus and make that their full-time job, but they've also got 3 other jobs, and so I applaud you for making things happen all the time.
Thank
it's
you.
Cool.
It's so, and being in the Bay Area, it's so fun to find those people who are willing to do it. And again, I didn't know that you had just started drag in 2018. That I felt like you've been doing it so long. So I kind of want to hear, like your 5-year journey has been so full of stuff. And again, I remember when we did this short film, by the way, yes, it was a one take, so we didn't cut at all. So I think we did this, I want to say like 6, maybe 7 times. And you got the rhythm, and we were like so proud of it. So it's on YouTube, Andy with an I, check it out. And then from there, I just thought this is how it works too. I think when you find somebody that you want to work with, I remember we shot this other super random commercial, and I was like, I can get Rex a part on this. And you had like a little walk-on role in it was like a random like watch Fitbit kind of something like that. And we were filming in a theater. And
that's right. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you Ubered in. Of course, production was like delayed. You're like, I gotta go to dance rehearsal or some. Oh my gosh,
or something. Yeah.
But I just applaud you because you have so much talent, and it's
Thank
obvious,
you.
and your commitment to make it happen. So, by the way, if you're watching live, you can post comments or questions in the chat, and we can address those. But Rex, can you talk a little bit about kind of the backstory of, obviously you're from Camden in the UK. You were living in San Francisco, then Sacramento. You were working at a restaurant, bartending or waiting table. You were doing all these things. Talk about the hustle and kind of getting to where you are today.
I mean, I try to do it in a way that's not a novel, because sometimes I can get into the details of things, but it's been a really weird like story. It's like oftentimes when I would get into like my life story or like, you know, my journey with my career, I'd be like, they're gonna find this so weird, or gonna be like, why, you know? And now I'm sort of like realizing that it's what makes you interesting is where you've come from, your journey, even if it is unusual. You know, I dreamed of being a ballet dancer. I wanted to dance. My first big dream was to dance with the Royal Ballet in Covent Garden in London. And you know, I felt like I got so close because I got into the school, which was such a big deal. I was like super inspired by Billy Elliot. I know, big cliche, but I was like really inspired by Billy Elliot, and I just wanted to be part of that perfect ballet world. And you know, I went through the school, and then, you know, as the competition got fierce and I just wasn't quite ready for like the Royal Ballet, you know, I went to a different company, and I went to a different school before that too. And my first job was with the Slovak National Ballet in Bratislava, which again, so random, but you know, I had friends that were in the company that all spoke English, so I felt like it was a safe place to be, because I was learning a lot about Eastern Europe, or Central Europe, I should say, like, you know, Bratislava, the culture there, and getting my first kind of chops, I guess, as a ballet dancer working in a company. And then, you know, I remember in that year, I thought to myself, I really want to choreograph. Like, I love dancing. I really do. It's always going to be like my bread and butter. But choreography is like an opportunity. Like, you know, it's comparing it to directing or writing versus acting. It's like you get a chance to create your own little world and pick who says the lines or who dances the role. And so I really wanted to choreograph. And there was this little workshop in Slovakia that almost didn't happen. And I got like all these people to come and work after they were done with work at 6 p.m. They completely volunteered their time. They were all my friends, so maybe they felt obligated to do it. But
way to go, friends.
Yeah, way to go, friends. Thank you so much. Shout out to all my Bratislava friends that did that for free. And it was my first taste of like what it's like to put something together and see it come to life and see other people get invested in it. So I was like, I want to choreograph. My friend told me that there was a job going, or like a company in Sacramento, where they were looking for 2 male dancers at the time, and they had a choreographic workshop every year. They had like a little opportunity at the end of the year to choreograph your own stuff. So that was my one reason why I went. I was like, I get to just create whatever ballets I can, even if they're, you know, small or large, whatever. So I moved to Sacramento fully not knowing where it was. I was like, where is Sacramento? I was like, okay, it's California. It's going to be fabulous, whatever, you know, literally. And I packed like literally, I'm not even joking. I got there, and like the director picked me up, and he's sort of this funny character. He was like this kind of like old gangster from Chicago kind of vibe.
Yeah, baby.
And you know, and he drove me to the studios, which at the time were like really run down. It was like an old office building that was turned into a ballet studio. The ceilings were falling in. It was bad. It was like, you know, there was clearly no money here, but it was just like it was like a little warehouse full of dancers that just like, this is their new studio, by the way. This is beautiful. Like they've graduated into a new building, which is really, really cool. But anyway, I got an opportunity to dance a lot of ballets, and I got to choreograph on some really strong dancers. We were not paid a ton of money, but we just danced the crap out of everything. And we were working so hard, and it was just all about the work and about the sweat and the music, and it just felt like a little bubble of just focused work, and of course partying and having a good time as well. But I really fell in love with the ballet culture in Sacramento at the time. And then of course after 5 years I wanted to like go somewhere else and experience something else. so I moved to San Francisco, where I joined Ewing Ballet, which is a contemporary dance company here. I danced with them, choreographed for them. I'm choreographing for them still.
Cool.
And during that time, I experienced a lot of back injuries because Ewing's a company where they really do dance some really cool ballets, but a lot of the rep is very intense with partnering. And I've just always been a bit like thin and small, and like I think, you know, lifting other people was always a struggle for me, and also something that I just wasn't really super like driven to get better at. And so I ended up getting a lot of back injuries because of it. And so I started to kind of fall out of love of being a dancer, but like I loved dance and I loved theater and I loved choreographing still. And I wasn't done dancing, but I just didn't want to like be in a ballet company doing other people's ballets anymore. I wanted to do my own stuff. And drag just sort of like happened. You know, I was really depressed because I couldn't dance. Like I couldn't walk for a few months because my back was so bad. And so I was like at home, just like painting my face. I felt like that kid again, where you're like drawing at home and you're sort of like, I don't know, just being creative. It resurfaced this creative feeling. And my makeup was terrible, as is every drag queen when you first start. But I would go out by myself and I just felt like, I don't know, like a star. I felt like a little like celebrity, and people would be like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I don't know," you know. So I felt like, you know, I was meeting friends in San Francisco and came up with a name, and then they were just like, "Do you perform?" And I just lied. I said, "Yeah." And so then I started getting gigs, and it just snowballed, and I felt like I was reclaiming my creativity again and reclaiming like my like juvenile self, because I do like to be juvenile and silly and not take life too seriously. And I felt like ballet was making me so serious and so stressed out all the time, and drag was just like an opportunity to just like be a Spice Girl and to just like have fun. And then acting simultaneously was like the drive of the bunhead drive thing, where like I get to work on something seriously, but then drag is like this fun other thing. Yeah, and then the pandemic messed everything up. And I went to Sacramento to save some money. During that time, I auditioned for Drag Race, not thinking I would get on because I didn't have any new expensive outfits or any, you know, real fancy, showy-offy things. I just had recycled outfits that I, you know, re-zhuzhed up, and I filmed my runway in an alleyway outside my building. I filmed a lot of my lip syncing in my friend's garage and art studio. I used footage of me dancing with Ewing and filmed everything like in my kitchen basically. And
wow.
You know, it was pretty raw because I was like, I got nothing to lose because I don't have much, so here it is. And I think that's the reason I got picked to go on the show, is because they're drawn to people that are just like themselves, you know. And yeah, I just, you know, I didn't feel like I had much in terms of expensive, fancy drag, but I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't have anything else going on. I was at Press Juicery working there. I was working at a Mexican restaurant. I was working at another pizza restaurant. I was teaching ballet on Zoom. I was teaching acting on Zoom. And I really I hated it. I hated working that much. It was just like so many jobs that I was not invested in. So I gave it everything. My audition for Drag Race, I was like, I have to get on because I need my life to change. And yeah, here we are.
You did it.
I did it.
Honestly, it's a great reminder. There's no one way to do it. Like, there's so many different ways that people break in, and obviously you want to do acting. That's your thing. That's what really brings you life. But you found this sort of diverted path, you know, through drag, and it's kind of mind blowing that you've only been doing this since 2018. It looks like you've been doing it your whole life.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 18. It might have been slightly 17, but like 18 was definitely when I was like, okay, I think I'm doing this. I think I'm going for it. I think I'm doing it. That was like the year for sure.
So the audition process, was it just kind of send in a self-tape, and then how long did you wait, and then how did it go with, like, was there callbacks? You know, I've heard many friends have done like Survivor, and you know, so I know some of that, but what was it like? What was the background of all that stuff like?
I imagine it's probably similar to a lot of these reality competition shows where they're looking at a ton of, oh, thank you. I was leaving Thank you, Megan.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was. I mean, every drag queen knows who's auditioned for Drag Race knows it's not really a secret at this point. It's like, you send in the basics of who you are, and then they send you instructions when they figure out that you're not a robot, I guess. And
Mhm.
it's a pretty lengthy, not difficult, but it's like, it's not just sit down for 5 minutes and talk. It's like they want to see everything. They want to know
Yeah.
who you are. They want to know what you do. So, you do a portion of like, you answer a bunch of questions, both in drag, out of drag. Actually, this look was what I interviewed, the gold one that it's like an old look, but I sat down and did my interview in that look.
Cool.
And yeah, because it was something that I made, out of like
Mhm.
wire and like hot glue and just a hope and a dream.
Which, by the
Um,
way, Rex has made all of these costumes. Like basically,
Not
like
all of
that's
them. That's not true. That's not true. I
but when
can't
you
take credit
started
for some
out,
of them.
when you
When I
started
started
out
out,
though,
yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
this was all of you, and that's what I think the cool creative hustle is. It's
Yeah,
not waiting around for someone else to drop your dream into your life or to give you the
yeah,
opportunities. You really freaking did it yourself. So yeah, keep
yeah.
going.
I do. I wonder, like, sometimes I think I should start making my own stuff again. Like, I have some really talented designers that make things that are well made, and I don't have that skill.
Mhm.
But I have the brain sometimes, and I'm like, I feel like I should start making my own stuff again because I think it's easy to lose creativity when you ask other people to help
Yeah,
you too much,
yeah, sure.
Um,
It goes back to that
but
idea
sorry,
of like limitations breeding creativity too, right? So if you're
right.
limited to your own resources, your own time, it brings something that maybe you wouldn't have had if someone else just kind of gives it to you. So that's kind of cool.
Right. I think there's a balance. Like I love asking other people to help because they have the ability to take it further.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I first started, I would like take stuff from Goodwill. I think a lot of queens do this. I would go buy stuff from Goodwill, make it smaller or like
Mhm.
bigger or whatever, add stuff to it, rhinestone it, add, some cheap sequins or whatever to it. And just trying to make something that would like be fun and get the point across without needing to be super polished. And I
Yeah.
think that I was lucky that my drag lends itself to like sometimes being kind of cheap. And, I don't think that I'm known for being polished pageant perfection. Um, I'm known for, I don't know what I'm really known for at this point. I'm known for like just, I think doing something specific, like if it's like a Spice Girl theme, if it's like a 90s moment, if it's yeah, I'm kind of everywhere. I'm a bit like I like to think that I'm versatile in drag. And yeah, I don't know. I think that like there's something really fun about that time when you first start doing drag because you just have an imagination and you don't have a ton of money.
Mhm.
You just have to sort of make shit happen. Excuse my French. Um Sorry, I won't swear.
You could swear.
Um okay.
We can
I'm gonna
handle
get
that.
you okay. I'm gonna get you in trouble. But to answer the question about the audition, yeah, it's basically like a 20-minute video or something that you have to do interviews, you have to show yourself lip syncing, you have to show yourself doing sometimes an acting challenge, impersonations always,
Wow.
extra skills. And I just really try to cram as much as I could into that like precious 20 minutes because I felt like I have a lot of different things that I do and I didn't want any of them to not be included. So I was like, I probably showed them some of Andy, I probably showed them some of that stuff. And because it's part of what makes you you, like you don't want people to not know that you also have these other skills or these other
Right.
passions. And even if you feel like they won't get it or they won't like it, it's important for people to know what you do and what you care about.
I think that's what makes us interesting as performers. We always say when we're doing our auditions and our acting classes with Bravemaker, the the casting director sometimes or director might say, "Hey, tell us about yourself." And it's
Mm.
interesting when an actor responds with all acting things. Like, we already know you're an actor, so tell us what other
Mm.
things you do. And that's what makes you appealing to want to work with when you're this well-rounded person who's got other interests. So yeah, I totally agree with that. That's super cool. And
Yeah.
and by the way, did you want to respond to that?
I was just gonna say it's interesting. I think like if I was that actor, I'd probably be like, oh, they want to know my acting accolades,
Right.
like to impress them, or I want to, you know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
sometimes like when I go on a date or something, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna find this weird or boring, but I'm just gonna tell them, you know what I mean? Because like
Yep.
they should know
Yep.
all the sort of things about you.
And so
Yeah.
that is a good little gauge. If you feel like you're hesitant because it feels weird, random, that's probably the thing you should tell, because that's what makes you interesting. And as a director who does a lot of casting with Zooms now, I'm thinking like I might not get a chance to meet this person in a live room for an audition. So I want to get to know who they are, because I'm going, I kind of know their talent already. I can figure out their talent through their audition. And then I want to know, like, are they going to be fun to be with on set for 10 hours or 12 hours? Are they going to be interesting? Are they going to be someone that brings life to the set? Are they going to be super boring and you know, self-centered, narcissistic? So that's a great just reminder for all you actors out there that when someone, you know, if you're doing auditions or these self-tapes, just like, yeah, talk about your dog, talk about your dating life, talk about your gardening or your weird thrift store hobbies. Like all that stuff is just super fun. Okay, so I caught up with all things. By the way, if you're watching live and you want to throw a question in the chat, please do. We'll try to get to it. I caught up with all things. By the way, I had never seen like much of RuPaul's Drag Race before you. You were the one who basically made me want to watch. So thank you. And so last night, as I last night as I was prepping for today, I told my daughter, I was like, I need to like rewatch a bunch of episodes, and they love you from what I tell them and show them of you. So we rewatched all like the highlights last night, and I honestly, like when I hear you talk about your bad back and that kind of thing, I'm still thinking, how the heck did you do half of those performances? Because they are so, from what it looks like, taxing on your body, the dancing and the moving around and the splits. Like, oh my gosh. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because it sounds like, you know, even today you were coming from a personal training. You have to keep up your physical stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, the real tea is like, you know, if you have an injury, especially as a ballet dancer, you have an injury, you've got to get over it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like, there's no way that you're gonna have a career. Like I've had injuries before, you know, small things like you sprain your ankle, you sprain that same ankle again, like in 6 months, it sucks, and like then you feel like, oh, I'm weak or I'm doing bad, and then you have directors and bosses that are, you know, judging whether or not you're going to be strong enough for them to stay in the company, and that's just like the real harsh reality, is that people are kind of judging you when you get injured as a dancer. And so you have to have this mentality of like, I'm not going to let it like defeat me. I'm not going to let this be my narrative. Like, I'm absolutely going to recover from this, and I'm going to be stronger for it. You know, I was lucky that I didn't have any injuries, knock on wood, that like really stopped me from dancing. The reason I had my back injury was because I like did this crazy lift at the end of the day on a Friday afternoon. We were all like looking at the clock, ready to hit that happy hour. Like we were like checked out a little bit. And it was this ballet that I just found hard, and I didn't really enjoy the choreography that much. I enjoyed it as a viewer, but I think for me, it just was really hard on my body because I don't know, it just didn't. Some ballets feel really good on your body and some don't. And that's the beauty of dance, is navigating that challenge and learning from it and growing from it. But at this point, I just was having a hard time with this one lift, and I did it, and I grabbed this girl who's a really good friend of mine, and she's tiny. There's no reason that I should have hurt myself, but like, it was like a twisty thing where I had to like use my legs, and I'd done like training that morning, I just did extra stuff that day to get like stronger and blah blah blah, and I did this lift that like basically I slipped a disc in my back because it was like an instant like weird twerk movement, and it's just one of those things that like if you're not careful, it can come back. And this last year I was touring non-stop and performing non-stop, and it was really fun, and I love it, and I can handle all of it. But then on the Halloween tour that we went on, I just was doing a lot of bells and whistles and tricks and a lot of ballet and in heels and crazy lifts, and I was really excited to do it, but then I resurfaced an old injury. So that's why just now before this, I did personal training, because I'm seeing a trainer now to prevent that from happening again. And it's just one of those things of like, you know, we all have slip-ups, we all get injuries, or like we all deal with bull crap, and you've got to just figure it out. You've got to like recover from it. I'm not ever gonna let me having a bad back be like my narrative moving forward from this, because like that's just, it feels like a bit of a bullshit excuse, you know. Like I'm like, just get stronger, move on from it, you know. I just don't feel like I have the choice to let it, you know, stop me from doing stuff, because I mean, like, I don't know if I was like to never dance again, or you know, just be like, oh, I can't do this because I've got a bad back, then like I wouldn't have, you know, come in second place on RuPaul's Drag Race. That's just the real fact. Like I wouldn't have done the things that I've done, and like, you know, but there's days where, you know, I lift a heavy suitcase and it's like, oh, ow, you know, but I don't know. I'm trying to like just kick ass in general. That's my goal, is to kick ass.
Rex, you are. Oh my
You
gosh.
know?
Yeah, I was laughing the other day. Rex got out of the Uber and had this big, ginormous suitcase rolling. He's like, could you grab this suitcase? And I was like, yeah, sure. I grabbed that. I was like, oh my, it's
I know. Like I was like,
three
please.
people in there.
I know. It's dead bodies. No. Yeah, drag's heavy, man.
So yeah, I am just like super, super impressed with the work ethic and the stuff that you have been able to accomplish. And so yeah, if you're listening and are watching this on the replay or on our podcast, Rex was the second runner-up on last season's RuPaul's Drag Race, which meant he won a nice cash prize from Cash App, and then went all $50,000. Hello, that's nice. That's great.
No, I was like, I'm not going to say no to that. Thank you very much. Cheers. Appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye.
And then on top of that, then you get on is it like the RuPaul tour basically? So you're touring all around the world with is it the top 5 winners or the top? How did that work?
There's a mix of different tours like throughout the year, and a lot of them are produced by different companies. The one that I was associated with was with Voss Events. They do like a Work the World, and you know, I went literally like the day after. So we found out, you know, we watched the finale episode. We found out who won, and we were the top 5. We were all in New York, and then the next morning, the next morning, I was flying to Copenhagen, and it was actually, I remember the day that they announced the winner. That morning, I'm not gonna lie to you, I woke up kind of hungover because I went out the night before. And I just want to be honest.
So can you explain this? I was watching this. So I watched a clip where it's like you were watching the reveal. Yeah. How did that work?
So that morning, I went to a studio that I hired to go over choreography that the choreographer in Copenhagen had sent me, danced by other dancers. So I had to watch it and learn it and do costume fittings with the costumes that were made in New York that I had to pick up to go and do that tour. So my brain was like already moving on to the tour. And then after I was done with that, I had to run home, paint my face in however much time in this tiny little hotel room. It was so hot. It was like summer. I mean, April, whatever. It was hot. It felt hot in New York at the time. And then I had to get ready really fast and, you know, couldn't be late because TV happens when it happens. Like there's no hold for 10 minutes. I got picked up by a car, taken to some big fancy hotel where they had like a bunch of different rooms, a restaurant room, and then a big sort of whatever room. So basically, I think this again is not an unknown fact. This finale where she announces the winner, if it's the top 2, they'll film 2 versions of it. They'll film a version where I win and a version where Willow wins. And the whole purpose of this is just so that they don't leak who wins before. They want to keep it exciting. They want to keep it, you know. This is actually the one episode that I never watched back.
Why? Is that too hard to watch or what?
Yeah, it's hard to watch just because it was the one episode that I didn't really kill it. So you know, it's hard for me to watch. And I think in the moment I was so nervous, and it was just oh God, it's so scary being in that environment. But anyway, we watched.
Let me interrupt and say you have to film a version of you winning it. That is wild.
Yeah. It is wild. And I had friends and family in the audience, and so it was one of those things where I remember in the moment when we filmed me winning, I tried to genuinely like take that moment in and just kind of go, if this never happens, I want to just feel it right now and just be like, just enjoy it, you know, not even be like, not do anything with it, but just, oh, thank you, Lindsay, for your lovely comment. I wanted to just feel it. And honestly too, like, I mean, Willow's fierce competition. I really did feel like if I was to lose to anybody, you know, I was happy that it was her. and we're so different too. So it didn't feel like a direct comparison. It didn't make me feel like I was a lesser version of a queen or something. It made me just feel like different. And you know, I was really fucking proud to get into second place, and I feel like I did. I just had fun in that. In order to get to second place, I had to do that finale number with the tutu and the reveal and all that. And I just really enjoyed it. I was like, that was like a fun dance, and I felt like it was so me. And I was just like, I felt lucky that I got that opportunity to do a number that was super me. If I could go back in time, I would have killed this lip sync a little more. You know, I would have just had a bit more confidence or something. I don't know, but it's also humbling to be like, you know, there's always more. There's always more to do.
Always. Sure.
Yeah.
Even if you win, right? I mean, second place is still great in how it's launched. I hope you feel it's launched you into a place of credibility. Like you're getting into spaces that you never were before. Like how amazing to be able to have that. Like it's so cool.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I think that does get to a certain point once you've filmed, once you watched it, once you've experienced it. That gets to a point where you, as an artist, like, of course, we're all known for being on RuPaul's Drag Race. You have to move on and do the next thing, and that's what I'm kind of like trying to hopefully focus on doing this year. Is like, you know, Drag Race is something that was amazing and it happened. Now what? You know, and I want. I want, like, a lot of people want to know if I'm ever going to go back on All Stars and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I maybe, I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes. I think that, like, what I, as a person, want to do is just, like, experience, like, cool bursts again. Like, Drag Race was a big burst of amazing stuff. And I think, you know, another burst would be, like, I would love to do my own one-woman show. Another burst would be, like, I'd love to, excuse me, like one day be on, I don't know, another big show, or like I would love to be in a movie, and I would love to like I would love to be like a working actor one day, you know, whenever that is. And there's just other things I want to do, and Drag Race will forever be like something that I hold near and dear to my heart, and part of my career, and I owe Drag Race a lot for these opportunities that I've gotten. So I want to just, like, you know, do some other things.
Love it. Well, if you're watching and you want to support a film that will star Rex, I have a nice juicy role for my next film called Eyes on Dino. That is the follow-up to my film called Last Chance Charlene. So you get to work with Allison Ewing, your friend.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Allison's going to be in it as well. So I'm currently working on the second feature film, and I've got a part for Rex in it. So if you want to be the executive producer of this next film and make our dreams come true, then you know where to find me.
Yeah. Gonna make that plug. And I read the script, and it's really funny. I just another role where I'm like, I want to do this so bad. It's so cool. Yeah, and thank you for thinking of me, Tony. I'm like, oh, there was like, Tony was trying to get me to do this part in this short that we just did, and he was like knocking at my door and I wasn't answering, and then he was knocking at my door and I wasn't answering because I'm doing that drag queen thing where I'm like, I'm too busy, there's so many things going on. And then finally he was like, listen, this is your last chance, I'm gonna give up on you, but I want you in this part. And I was like, oh my god, Tony, yes, I want to be in it. In my brain I thought I had said yes, you know. And so thank you. I'm so like lucky that you didn't take no for an answer, because I was being a terrible actor and not doing the business side of acting, which is respond and follow up and, you know, all that stuff. So
that's so funny.
We had such a good time on Monday. I really can't wait for everyone to see this short.
Yeah, if you're watching us live or on the replay on the video portion, which is on our YouTube channel at bravemaker.org, you can see a little behind the scenes of the short we did. We knocked out one 8-page short film in like 10 and a half hours. It was so fun. Good cast and crew. And yeah, I'll just say, you know, kind of, Rex, I knew you were busy, and you were like in Amsterdam one, then you're like in Atlanta, and then you're at all these places. So I knew your life was busy, and I just knew this part had to be played by you. So again, I was like, I'll wait till we get Rex in town to do it, because I knew Rex would be perfect. But I think that is something to be aware of. Like, if you're in my position as a writer director and you have somebody that you know is talented, yeah, chase them down. Obviously I wasn't begging, and I knew that Rex was busy. It wasn't like Rex was just kind of doing nothing and not responding. There's a difference between being busy and not responding and being careless and not responding. And I totally knew where you were coming from. And I think that's what I love about what we get to do, is when you find people, like, you'll accommodate and you'll work, and you were accommodating to me, and you're at a place where you don't need to take everything that people offer you, and you have been gracious in the things that we've done over the past two. So I love it. So I'll always try to find a way to work with you and give you a part. So yeah
Thank you, Tony. I mean, like, sorry, I was just gonna say, like the dancer, actor that, like, always, like, aspiring actor, or that person says yes to everything, and, like, so grateful that I'm in a place where I'm like, I want to make space to do, like, the passion projects, because they mean a lot, and, like, I think this is, like, one of those things where an opportunity to act in a film or a TV episode or something like that is really not, it's not easy to get, and it's not common, and when you trust the writer, the people in the room, and it's a good vibe and it's a good team, it's, like, precious, so I feel like those opportunities are, like, little gems that you want to hold on to, I think.
Right on. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I would love to talk more about your kind of next steps as you figure out what life looks like in the next year. You're doing some more touring this summer, but you're getting back into acting classes. How are you getting yourself out there? Like, are you kind of basically, I know you have a song out or two. My gosh, what the heck? You've got a lot of other things. So let's hear about what's next for you and the kind of things that are coming down the pike.
I mean, it sort of feels like the standard these days for a drag queen who gets out of Drag Race. Like, we kind of expect a lot of the girls who did well on the show to kind of do everything, and a lot of the most successful queens do everything, and they do it really well. So there is a little bit of a pressure of, like, I've got to, like, keep creative and keep things chugging along and keep doing stuff. I think that last year was saturated with a lot of tours and club appearances, and it's something that I really love to do. I love to perform live in general. But then, like, this one music video that I did for my song Surrender was one of those little bursts of, like, something to look forward to, something to work towards, something that happens and then in a day it's done. But, like, and don't get me wrong, I know I am no Mariah Carey. I am not delusional in that sense. But I really made this song, honestly, as an excuse to make a music video, because I love making music videos. I love making, like, a narrative, a drama, like a story. And I don't know, maybe like one day I'll get into writing, directing, producing. But, like, for now, I just, I love, like, this stuff. Like, I love the creating a little fun thing. And unfortunately, sometimes those things are the things that don't make any money, and they cost a ton of money to make. But, I think this year I'm working on at least 2 more songs right now. And, again, it's not because I think that I'm the next Mariah Carey. I just, maybe I'm the next drag Sophia Les Baxter. Maybe I'm just, like, someone that comes out with fun songs once in a while and has, like, a really fun music video to go along with it. Thank you. Oh, Candace Moustache, she's my #1 fan. Hi, Candace
Your
Moustache.
fan club.
Yes. I think this year, and my managers can feel it too, like, they know that I want to just do some of my own little things. And I think that, like, my goals, and again, sometimes these goals don't happen, sometimes they get pushed back. I really want to do a little tiny one-woman show, and then my dream would be to expand it and make it a tour. I really want to do a Christmas show. That would be my goal as well. I really want to do at least, like, 2 or 3 music videos this year. I have it. I think, don't like run with this, fans, but I'm doing half the tour of the American Work the World. I'm pretty sure I can say that. Like, I think it's the first half of it says, like, 2 months. It's, like, June, July. But then after that, I'm not really doing a ton of touring. So I thought that I would fill that time up with, trying to do, like, a little one-woman show, or, like, a little Christmas show, or things, bits and bobs here and there. So and I'm going back to acting school more full time. Nancy says, "You're not the next Mariah Carey. You're the first and only Lady Camden." I love that. Thank you, Nancy. I think I just want to clarify that I'm aware of my, my singing capabilities and sometimes lack thereof. But so yeah, I think I missed so many classes with acting school, and there's this level of guilt as an actor if you miss school. It's like an athlete not going to the gym or not working out. You're not going to get better, and you're probably going to get worse. So I want to get back into school. I want to be ready for like any audition that comes my way, as sporadically as it may come. I just want to get into some YouTube things too, like little creative moments, and
That's great.
more things that are reflective of me and what I want to do in drag, and a little less of just saying yes to everything.
Well, if you are a writer who can write a juicy part for Rex, write it up, send it out. I can help you get it to it. If it's good, maybe Rex will say yes. You never know. This is what it takes. Like, write stuff and reach out.
Yeah.
And kind of what I heard you say earlier too is, in multiple ways you've done this. You what do you like? You take a risk on yourself. You shoot your shot and you put yourself out there. And as actors, as performers, when you find or you see somebody you want to work with who maybe seems like steps above you, it doesn't hurt to just reach out. Social media, we're very, very accessible these days, so reach out to people. And if you can't reach out to that person, then you find their reps, their managers, and if it's right, it's right. It'll turn out. I think that's really cool, that you want these things and you're putting them out in the world. And I go, why not try them all and kind of see what works, and hopefully you're energized by them, and as well as paying bills, because that's important too. And it seems like it's happening for you.
I mean, I think I always had a slightly deluded, ambitious mentality when I was a kid. Like, I was like, I'm going to be in the Royal Ballet, and I'm going to be a principal dancer, and I'm going to be the next Nureyev. And it's like, okay, that didn't happen. But I got way further than I would have if I didn't have that mentality. I would not have gotten into the Royal Ballet School. I would have not had a dancing career for 10 years. So my mentality is just like, be deluded and ambitious. And if people think you're crazy, then they can think that. Good for them. And like I said, that old saying, shoot for the stars, land on the moon kind of thing. I really do believe in that, because it's so easy to tell yourself you can't. There's so many reasons why you won't get something. Of course, that's just the way life is. But like, I try to be, like that parent that's like, you could do anything, sweetie. I try to be that for myself.
For yourself.
Yeah.
For yourself. And again, there's a difference between being delusional with optimism and working hard and doing whatever you can, all the bits and bobs that you can to make the dream come true.
Yeah.
The difference between being delusional and kind of waiting around and hoping and praying something's going to fall into your lap and not going after it and not going to class and not doing, volunteering in short films. Like, that's the difference that I love, that separates the cream from the what's that phrase? The cream from the crop. I don't know. But that thing. But yeah, you could tell those people who are doing it and who are taking a risk and betting on themselves and working hard and willing to eat the ramen. Honestly, I have 3 kids. I live in the Bay Area, super expensive. I've been married almost 20 years, and I work 2 or 3 other jobs, and I run a nonprofit. And I'm like, I'm living my dream, and living the dream takes a lot of work. And if you're not putting the work in, then you're not going to experience the dream. That's kind of my motto. So take that to the bank, kiddos.
And now you have a feature film out. Like, that is crazy to me. And I don't think I realized that you had just started Breakmaker in 2018 too. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see Last Chance Charlie, and I'm waiting for it to come out on a streaming platform.
Look at you promoting Rex.
No, but I genuinely want to watch it because Allison, the main actor in it, I don't know if I told you this. I told Kat on the way home from the shoot. Allison is like incredible. Like,
just preach on, because Allison is the actor who stars in my first feature film, Last Chance Charlie, who goes to school with Rex, which is really, really cool. And yeah, she knocked this film out of the park. I mean, we got some really cool film festivals, and Allison won Best Actress at the Pasadena Film Festival. It's so cool. Yeah, so you can pre-order it now. Go to bravemaker.com/lastchancecharlene. It's on iTunes, Apple TV. We have the script. You can order the script. We have the merchandise and the soundtrack.
Oh my God, you have merch. That's so cute.
Yeah,
I love
it's so fun. Yeah, it's really, really
Can
cool.
I tell you about Allison, my first so
Yes,
the reason I'm
please.
like so in love with her, and a lot of students are kind of like, they love her as well at school, and she is so funny. She has no idea why. She's like, you know, she doesn't even like see, which is what I think is cool about her. She's humble and like really hardworking, and like in class, like everyone does their scenes and we all discuss it, and like a lot of us like will listen, but truth be told, sometimes we'll go and like, you know, do the dishes or we'll do whatever because it's on Zoom. But Allison is like interjecting and discussing things, so I know that she's like present and she's actually listening to the notes that are being said in class. And I'm like, damn, I need to be more like her. And she's like the real deal. Like, she's really working on it, and she's not like pretending to work on it and calling herself an actor. Like, she's really working on it. And the first time I saw her in class, I think I had there's like core level, and then there's masterclass with the school that I go to, and you have to be in core for a certain amount of time, and then you kind of graduate to masterclass. And for lack of a better word, shit gets real. Like, you start getting real hard scenes, and you can't do the scenes without working on them. It's not like a Starbucks ordering a drink kind of scene. It's like something intense. And so I came to the masterclass and I was already like, oh, you know, and then I saw Allison do a scene, and I think that she did like an improv monologue right after it, just discussing, which is another part of the exercise. You do an improv monologue after you do a scene to show the work that you've done on it, and the research and the work that you've done to make the role real for you personally, and to put yourself in that set of circumstances and all that kind of stuff. And she just went off and lost it and was sobbing, and just was like messy, and the room was like,
wow,
you know, we didn't know what to do.
Wow.
And I don't know, she was the first time that I saw someone be really, really vulnerable, and like you could tell she was uncomfortable in that situation. And that's the goal for every actor, is to get into a place where you're so real and raw that you don't give a crap about what people think, about people's judgments about you. And then as soon as you're able to be in that level of comfortable with everyone seeing you in your worst, best, meanest, angriest, whatever, if you're okay with everyone seeing every part of you, then you're gonna be doing a good scene. Like, you're there, you're present, you're not focused on results acting, you're not focusing on how you say things and how you act, you're just living it as it's happening. And like, that's someone that does that. Like Allison is someone that, oh God, I can't wait to see it. I just love her. I love her so much.
That is amazing.
She needs to be a star. She needs to be famous.
Agree.
She needs to be a star. And I don't know why she's not.
Allison Ewing, you heard it right here from Rex Wheeler and Tony Gapastione on the Brave Maker podcast. Yeah. We are so excited for this feature film to come out. And Rex, look at this, is how you're ending the show. You're amazing. Thank you for this. This is also a really cool element or character trait of, I think, good acting and good people in the community, when it's like, let me also promote somebody else. Let me also draw attention to another actor, to somebody I admire, to someone I'm learning from. So,
I mean, I'm not even trying to plug her. I really do feel like I just look up to her. I think that's the thing. It's not that I'm like, I think that she deserves a shout out or something. I think that she's gonna be just fine. You know what I mean? She's gonna have a career. She's gonna be a star. I just love her, and I think that, like, you know, when so people, to bring it back to me, when people are like, who do you admire? And a lot of people talk about like other drag queens, and of course I admire other drag queens, but one of my goals this year is to, like, and this is with the help of therapy sometimes too, is to think about people that you admire, and it doesn't have to be in your line of work, you know? So like, oh my god, I always say Padraig, but it's Porrig. Hi Porrig, also known as Rosie Petals, Bay Area drag queen.
Oh, hey. Hello Rosie Petals, cool.
She's Irish too. And one of my goals this year is to remind myself of people that I admire that aren't necessarily drag queens, but people that just like make things happen and like are really dedicated to their craft. So Allison is one of those people who is a little bit more accessible because I know her from school. but making things happen. Marinella Nunes is the ballet dancer from the Royal Ballet, who is the Meryl Streep of the ballet world, like just perfection, but also like insane hard work over decades and like dedication. J-Lo, so random, but like I just think that like J-Lo is someone that does everything and does it well. Like when I saw J-Lo in Hustler and I saw the level of acting that went into that, I was like, oh, sorry, excuse me. I will take back any judgments that I did or did not have. You know, just like as someone that works, like you can tell when someone works really, really hard, and that's someone that I was like, oh, she works really, really hard to make that happen. So like my goal this year is to look up to people that just work insanely hard to make their goals happen in whatever field it is. It doesn't have to be drag or acting even, you know. Yeah. Oh no, I can't hear you.
Thank you. My mic cord fell out. I'm back, everybody. As Rex sips from his tea in the "You Are the Story" Bravemaker mug, I was just saying, thanks for coming on. We just filmed this short film on Monday. It was a blast, called "Alex is a Queen." It's going to be out in June, and it stars Rex, and it was so fun. And I literally texted Rex as he was driving in the Uber, so I forgot to ask him, like, hey, do you want to come on the show on Wednesday? Because I didn't have a guest, and you jumped in. So thank you so much for doing this. It's
works
so
out great.
Cool. Appreciate you. I'm a big fan of you and your talent, and I love that we got to work together since 2018. Go watch Andy with an I, our short film. And if there's anybody out there that works for Abbott Elementary, I want to do documentary stuff. So go check out the short film that is all about an aspiring actor who's quite the diva. And I think you'll also need to know that the guy who played the agent in the film, Irving, is writing in LA on this new TV show. So you all both have you both have like exploded out into the world. So it's
oh my God, I'm so glad that I got to yell at him before he became famous.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's so cool. You never know what's going to happen with people. So be good to each other. Work with each other. Work for free when you can. You know, and be good and kind and do favors for one another in the acting world, because it always comes back. And I love this stuff. So thank you so much, Rex. Where do you want people to follow you, to connect with you on all your socials?
Yeah, maybe don't follow me on Facebook, because honestly, I never check Facebook, and people message me all the time and they get angry because I don't respond. And it's just like sometimes there's too many things going on, and Facebook gets a bit like scary for me personally, not for everybody. But I have to check in once in a while, because like older relatives, that's the only way that they know how to connect, is on Facebook. So Instagram is where I'm at mostly. I'm trying to get better at Twitter, but I try to keep it light and easy and not too political or anything like that, because it gets a bit heavy also too. So Instagram, Twitter. I'm going to be working on some YouTube stuff this year a little bit more. Excuse me. Yeah, I would say Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Once in a while, once in a blue moon, TikTok. But I'm just that generation that isn't as like pumped about Twitter. TikTok. Sorry, like I'll do it once in a while, but you know. Yeah.
I feel you. I'm like, I'll do TikTok like once a quarter.
Yeah.
And by the way, congratulations.
Go on TikTok, but
yeah, exactly. Congratulations on your MTV Music Award as well.
Oh my God, wait, do you want to see it real quick?
Yes. Oh, let's see it. We got to get a picture with this. We always end with a picture, but maybe we'll do it with the MTV Music Award. Those of you who are listening, he has this amazing golden popcorn thing from MTV, like the iconic MTV golden pop. Look at that. That is amazing.
That's so cute. It's like little popcorn.
So cool.
And I think there's a loose popcorn kernel, and I don't know where it's from. Maybe it's.
You got to find a welder to weld it back on.
I don't know where it came from, though. Like I literally don't even know where it broke off from.
Well, you could probably
I've already broken it.
You could sell that, like that little piece of it broken off, for your next outfit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Or I could just use it as a little Anyway, so I got this way late. I was supposed to get it like last year, but it was sent to my old apartment, and I just haven't had a chance to go to my old apartment and collect all the mail. And there was a package, and we were both just like, I don't know what this is. And I always thought that you had to like order this and pay for it, and I was like, I just never got around to doing that, but they sent it to me, so I'm like, okay, great, thank you. So yeah, here it is. I get to show it off to all my friends when they come over.
And you can watch the opening, the box opening on Lady Camden's Instagram and see it opening in the car while someone's driving you. It was perfect. It was so good.
It was fun.
All right. Well, don't go away, Rex. I want to dig one little still, but before I do, I want to say thank you to everybody who watched. It was so fun to see all your comments, Rosie Petals and Nancy and Camden's Mustache and other people. We are here every single Wednesday, and we do the show with all different types of actors and creators and filmmakers. Next week, we will have Keena Ferguson from Los Angeles, who is an actor and filmmaker who is on a bunch of TV shows you would know, also writing and directing her own content. So you can find her at Keena Star. Keena will be with us next week to talk about what it looks like to make and direct your own content. I also want to say thank you to our producer, Amy Cohen, who does all of the amazing behind the scenes stuff, the one who's putting all the quotes and all the stuff up while you're watching, and communicates with all of our guests like Rex and creates links and stuff for us. Could not do this without her. She's in Austin, Texas, our intern, Jessica Cohen, who will then go and edit these little clips and put them on Instagram for us as well. And thank you to our podcast editor who takes this and then makes it into the audio version. So you could listen to this while you're running or working out or washing dishes or doing your drag performance, choreography. So thank you to Barnell Amos, our editor, as well as Carrie Ali, our social media manager. If you want to follow us more, please share this on our YouTube channel, bravemaker.org. We'd love to get more connections with you all out there. And we are a nonprofit. So the film we just did on Monday, we're looking for help. So help us make this movie, edit it, pay people. You can go to bravemaker.com/donate. You can become a monthly donor. You can use your phone, text the word Bravemaker, just one word, to 44321. We're a nonprofit. Everything is tax deductible, helps us do all this great stuff, our film festival. And finally, we have a Black History Month celebration coming up on Tuesday, the 28th of February. If you'd like to come to Redwood City and hang out with us, we have two great filmmakers from Los Angeles who will be sharing their short documentaries about Black history and Black lives, Black stories. Really, really cool. Encourage you if you can come on February 28th at 6:30 p.m. It will be happening at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, which is a nonprofit foundation in Redwood City that supports us and our work. And we would love for you all to be there. You can find out more at bravemaker.com. Tickets are only $10. Thanks again to Rex Wheeler, yes, also known as Lady Camden. You will be hearing more from this amazing creative person in the future. Follow and like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Thanks, Rex, for being a part of this. It was so great. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, you got it. Don't go away. I'll come back at the end of our final thing here, and we'll do a closing little thing. Everybody else, I want to say, as you know, we always end this with this phrase, and I hope really that you believe it, because if we don't, then why are we doing this? You are the story. Brave stories change the world, and you are the story. Keep creating, everybody, and we shall see you next week. Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word Bravemaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.